Sarah Darling, and I live in Greenfield, and I'm here because I'm very interested in alternative investments and sort of new ways of dealing with economics and to help communities.
I'm Gary Schaefer, and I'm here to learn how to spend
Ah.
credits. Spend.
Where are you from?
So I'm living in South Deerfield, work in Greenfield. All of Barbara do the rest.
I'm Barbara Fingold, and I want to learn how to use my art credits, because I have a lot more that have been watched by business than what I could spend. So I'd like to talk about how we can get more businesses involved.
And I'm Nancy Hazard, and among other things, I'm with Green in Greenfield, live in Greenfield, and I was in the pilot project, and maybe most of you were, and I figured I was a really good person to be in the pilot project because I struggle with anything electronic or whatever, and William has been the very kind and supportive human being that he is, has helped me try to at least function with it.
I think you are our most valuable
But I
volunteer.
Right, because if there's a problem, I will discover it. And so I'm also in that continuing education. I still don't completely get it, although I have been using it for a while.
Emily, I think this is your place in the circle.
Okay, I'm Emily Moneson, and I live in Montague, and I like using art credits, and I'm a board member of Common Good Finance. And I'll be videoing, just so everybody knows.
I'm Tim Holcomb from Amherst. I have a mouthful of snacks. I think I'm here basically to educate myself, and also William revealed a long time ago to me that he was a former theater guy, and I'm a theater guy, and I kind of like changing the story, and I think that's what our credits is all about, and that's what I'm here.
I'm John Root, and I'm on the board, and I'm doing seminars and talking on the radio, and now that we're ready to expand, trying to get other people in other communities interested and up and running, and I just came down from Montpelier, which looks like it's going pretty well.
Cool. Thank you all for being here. On to the next segment of our seminar today. You see up here the overview, which is pretty simple. Tonight we're doing nuts and bolts, which is more or less what we did last week. This more formal structuring is actually a result of feedback we got about last week's session, which was just really Q&A, questions and answers. So we'll do the nuts and bolts today, show you how you use your R card. Some of you already know this, how you get money into your account, get money out of your account, how you, what happens behind the scenes when all that is going on, and what the deal is, what the R credits agreement is, and what the various pieces of it mean. So you have a sense of what the whole deal is for you as an individual or business participating in R credits. Next week we'll do where the money comes from. This is the most theoretical of the sessions next week. Welcome, welcomes.
Hi.
Quickly introduce yourselves.
Carol Letson, Greenfield.
Peter Lesson.
He's also on our board of directors.
And they're both participants in the system. And who's this? Oh, hi. Johanna.
Stacy?
Stacy. Welcome. Where are you from and why are you here?
I'm from Greenfields, and I'm just interested in it.
Cool.
Cool.
You're very welcome to all of you. So next week we'll do the deep theory, and then on the final session on the 26th, we'll get to what it's really all for, which is the democratic piece. What can we do with this ability to issue something that can function like money in our community and have all of the data that we need to oversee the how the money flows in the community. Want to add anything to any of that overview?
No, I think that the theory is the most important, and I'm always disappointed that nobody ever agrees with me. Because guess what, if you get the theory, you can go anywhere. If you don't have the theory, you're stuck with your R card, and that's it.
John is our head theorist, and it took him 2 years to get me to understand what he was talking about. But
Let me say something.
we've been working on the presentation for years now, so it should be
I
okay.
discovered that there was somebody else who understood money, and it was William. And it happened when I was saying, look, we gotta start a bank. I was doing a seminar. And somebody said, no, we don't. Somebody's already doing that. I heard it on the radio. It was the most exciting moment in my life, except for when William said, okay, we're ready to go. And we can expand. That was the most exciting moment in my life.
All right. Thank you. For our next segment, we need some volunteers, because I'm going to show you in practice how this works. We need one volunteer to be an R credits participant, and one person to be a company, a business that they buy from. And is that it? Oh, and one person to be the R credits escrow.
Yes.
That person can just remain seated. Any
Well,
volunteers?
I can be the business since we
Excellent. Okay, who wants to be an R, how about one of the people that aren't yet an R credits participant being which? You really want to do it. I can do it. Thank you. Johanna. Johanna or Johanna?
Oh, good.
Johanna. Better write that. Okay. So, would you stand up, please? The first step is you open an R credits account. Actually, before that, you have to be invited by somebody that knows you. It's part of our security system. And then you click on a link in your email and
I just
allows you-
invited her.
Terrific. Thank you. And then you open your account, and very soon after that, you get an envelope in the mail that has something in it for you. You can open that up. It's an R card. It comes with a letter, and it comes with a nicer card than this, but that'll be your R card for this exercise. And then you, as part of the signing up for the, with your opening your account, you connect it to your bank account, which lets you easily trade US dollars. These are yours. You already have these. These are $100 bills, US dollars.
I didn't know you could print those too.
Yeah, we can do that.
on Thursdays.
They're a little darker than the ones you get from the Fed. So who's the, did we get somebody to volunteer for the escrow?
Oh, no.
You'll be the escrow, thank you, Sarah. Okay, you're the escrow. And I will be the R credit system in this example. One of the first things you want to do is trade some of your US dollars for R credit, so you can use the R credit system. So why don't you do that? How many you want? You probably want at least 200 in this exercise. Okay, those you give to me, that's right, and to the system, and the system puts them in escrow and gives you, well, actually it issues, you have to make these, a couple $100 you can think of as just putting them on your card. You probably want to keep that with your
You
card.
never see them, they're not physical at all.
Right.
Right.
It's all electronic, but we're using these to represent the electronics. So you did 200, right? So you get $200 worth of our credits. And now you can go spend them using your card. So you take your card to the store. You can buy some ice cream in this case.
Ice cream.
It's a lot, you don't have to spend it all at once. You can spend a little bit at a time.
Oh, I should have given you some on here. Here's a bowl of ice cream.
Or something also.
Yes, really.
I recommend
ice cream.
Well, it's nuts, it's not ice cream.
It's nuts. You've told me that before.
The whole thing is nuts, but that's a whole other.
Okay, so you present your, if you were a retail
Right.
business,
I believe I'm Greenfield's Market.
so you present your card for payment when you take your stuff.
Go through the checkout,
Yeah.
finish your stuff. Here's your card.
And let's say it costs you $100.
You're
So
gonna
you,
take a picture of
the
it.
$100 goes with your card, and that gets transferred to the company electronically, right?
Take a
It's all
picture.
just,
Right.
you take a picture of the
Take a
card.
picture. And it takes $100 out of your our credit account. I give you back your card, but I keep $100 worth of credits.
Yep.
And your copy,
She gets a receipt.
and you get a receipt.
You got it.
You got it.
And the receipt even says our credits on it.
And no, I have a whole stack.
Register.
Okay, now, something else interesting happens at this point. The system issues both of you an incentive reward for having done this transaction successfully. It's 10% of the amount, so here's 10 for you, 10 for the company.
Thank you, sir.
I actually forgot one earlier. You're supposed to
You
get,
get some.
you got 20 for signing up, so yeah, that's two.
You're making it.
Okay,
How much does Nancy get for inviting?
currently 20.
I could give Nancy 20.
Oh, yes.
I get
Right,
20
you
bucks.
get 20, at this point,
Well,
Right.
it's 20,
Cool.
I didn't know we got to that point yet.
Oh, I'm so glad I invited you.
When Johanna gets her $20, you also get $20.
$20 worth of our credits, please.
Worth of our credits, excuse
So
me.
Johanna, when she bought 200, she got 220. Correct.
Not when she trades.
10%
No,
of whatever
actually
she
spent
bought.
Actually,
Not until she spends it.
Oh, okay.
as of yesterday, the
Uh-oh.
system waits until you make your first R card purchase before you get your sign-up bonus.
Good point.
And before the inviter gets the bonus. So we actually did this at the right time. All of this happened at once. That was your first purchase. Okay, so how much do you have now?
They have 400 and 530.
Started with 200.
Like that's your regular bank account or something.
Okay.
In our
So
credits.
just our credits, I have.
130, okay.
And
So
you spent 100.
you put 200 in, spent 100, and now you have 130.
This starts to sound like magic.
And who do you buy cream from? Milk and cream.
St. Albans Cooperative Creamery in St. Albans, Vermont.
There you go, we need to get them in. That's why I'm doing Vermont.
Man, I can spend it there
Yeah.
in a hurry.
Oh, no.
We'll get them, thank you.
Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave,
Hi, William.
welcome.
Thank you.
What's your name, where are you from, and why are you here?
Dave Gott, Greenfield. I'm here because I believe in this stuff, and I appreciate some of the faces that I knew were involved, and those that I didn't, but, you know, people that I know and respect. That's why I'm here.
Welcome. Okay, let's go on to the next step. What do you want to do next with your art credit system?
So how many guys?
You could spend some more of the art credits that you already have, or you could decide that you've got too many of them and change them back to US dollars, some of them. Or you could, what else can you do? You could leave them in your account and get an inflation adjustment on them the next, when the month changes. Let's do
You could sell a service in
Let's say the month
to
goes by.
someone who wants to buy them.
This is true. Let's say the month goes by and you get a 5% APR return, which is the current estimate of what inflation is, because we don't have better measure yet. Annually. So let's call that
Wouldn't be much.
$1. There's an extra $1. So you've been holding it for a while now.
An extra $1 worth of art credits.
Thank you, John. This is actually an important distinction, because we are not issuing US dollars here. We are issuing something that represents our agreement amongst ourselves.
Yes.
And the theory is actually very easy to grasp. We are using the dollar and cents as the unit of value, which is totally abstract, and we all know what a dollar is worth. We are not using Federal Reserve money to make the exchanges. We're using the money that we issue for our purposes, called our credits, to effect exchanges. That's why it's called the means of exchange, or the means of payment. So we're splitting it. The unit of value, we're using it, and the reason for the inflation adjustment is that the unit of value has been losing money over the past 100 years, you know. A dollar in 1913 is worth a nickel now. So we keep the value of our credits steady. And our credits will remain a accurate measure, an accurate representation of value. But that's the key, that we can agree to use something other than Federal Reserve money as the means of exchange.
Let's just extrapolate from here for a moment before taking the next action. Notice that the money in the escrow isn't doing anything, it's just sitting there, right? During all the business that happens with the R credits. You bought something, you could put some more money in your account and trade some more US dollars for R credits, spend those and so forth. The business can pay its employees or its suppliers, they can go out and buy things, and the R credits go around in the community. And meanwhile, the green stuff is just sitting there. So, next step. What happens if you decide that you have too many R credits and you want to trade some back for US dollars? Am I doing this in the right order? Am I forgetting something I should do first?
That's fine.
Please feel free if you have questions.
Do you have a business or a service that you sell?
Good. We should. David has a question first.
It can go after, it doesn't matter. Soon, I'd like to ask.
No,
What do you do?
not really.
No?
I'm a grad student.
Grad student. Okay.
Would you any babysitting?
Graduate. After you're a grad student, what will you do?
Hopefully work for a municipality. Probably not in the private sector.
Cool. Well, at some point we expect that municipalities will want to participate in this too, but that's a way off. Yeah, we'll just, do you have an example you want to give of that score anyway, or not? Should we go on to the next step?
Well, I was just thinking she could babysit her so that she also receives our credits. Or she's, you know, whatever. But it's fine. It's not necessary.
Something that actually happens quite a bit is somebody takes somebody out to lunch or something, and then somebody else in the system pays them, you know, few R credits. That's reimbursement for some US dollars you spent taking out to lunch somewhere.
And they did it on the internet with their smartphone.
Right, okay, so let's now go to this piece that everybody asks about at some point, which is what happens if you want to leave the system?
Might be better just to sell some first,
You think so?
and leave the system as a separate
Okay,
step.
good, we'll do that. So let's say you want to cash out, how much do you have, 140 or something?
Yeah.
Let's say you want to get back 100. You can just do that online. You say, I want to trade, you sign into your account, you say, I want to trade this much for that, for US dollars. And then you give the system your electronic credits, and the system puts them in the escrow, optional, but it works a heck of a lot better than having to go to Greenfield Market, Foster's, and hand them cash.
Which works fine, actually. I've done it.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Does anybody in the building know how to get onto
You know,
the internet
you
here?
can sit back down. I think actually we want to save the piece that you guys put off until after we've looked at the agreement. Okay.
So at this point, she bought $100 worth of ice cream, and she got $100 back, so she actually went in with 200. She got $100 of ice cream, she got $100 back, and she still has some credits in her possession.
Yeah.
And someone else actually got, oh, that was a sign-up bonus.
And I have,
And then he got some credit for selling.
I got a 10.
Okay, so the 200 is basically back in the system, but there's some others, there's some
additional.
loose ends or,
Yes.
okay? So I just want to recap where we are here.
Thank you.
And that's what my question relates to, is the extra, the loose ends, the additional currency or that came from somewhere. And I was just curious where that is coming from. Do we have a grant? Are we creating it out of
We're actually
ourselves?
not going to answer that in any detail tonight because it's the entire subject for next week.
Okay, fine.
But the short answer is, money has value because you can get something for it. Right? And legal tender has value because we are all required to accept it for what we have to offer. And our credits have value because we have agreed to accept them for what we have to offer. So as opposed to criminal law legal tender, like US dollar, we use contract law tender, our credits.
Is it covered by contract law? I mean,
Well, yeah, you sign
That's
an
a
agreement.
contract you're gonna
Oh,
sign.
cool, interesting, wow,
Why isn't it doing this for me?
wow.
Feels like I
You don't need to
know
sign
what-
in for the agreement, you just click on the bottom of the page.
Oh, I know what I'm doing now.
And it's already
What's
up
to
here.
keep you from creating,
This tab has the agreement here.
But I wanted to show the internet charge and pay.
Oh, good.
So it's really easy to charge and pay on the internet.
Instead of using your R card, you can use these little, you can sign in your account, use those two tabs.
So I start
Is that how people
typing.
pay us? Is that how they're paying us when Greenfield Market pays us?
That's what they do,
That's
yes.
what they're doing.
William. I just got a debugging message. Anyway, you start typing in the name of whom you want to charge and it brings it right up. Except that it brought up a debugging message.
Type in Snows. Was that what you're doing?
That's what I was saying.
Oh,
Anyway.
from the Ajax.
What?
Yeah, that was one of the things that changed this week, was we upgraded to a different version of Drupal, and it has different bugs than the old version of Drupal. Yes.
Okay.
I'll just say that I was really happy because I did this for holidays with Real Pickles, because I wanted to buy some gifts from Real Pickles, and they had to accept it through this way, and so I just typed Real Pickles in and put the amount in, and that was it. I got myself a case of Real Pickles products.
Cool.
So then you had to go up to Real Pickles and get them?
I went to Real Pickles and got them, but they already had that I had paid through our credit, or that I had exchanged our credits, and so I just went and picked up my box.
They could have used the charge tab to charge you, but then you would have to approve it.
Okay.
But you can't come to our place to get ice cream. So that's interesting to hear that, but we don't, that's not what we do, so I hope nobody does that.
Oh, well,
Well, you'd have to have some agreement with them anyway. I mean,
Okay.
somebody could do that wholesale, you do that, and you do that, right? Because Greenfield Market.
the co-op could,
We deliver to them
do
on
this, pay you
invoices,
this
they
way.
use the tab to pay
Right,
invoices
they use
based
the
on, right. I'm just concerned, we don't want people showing up, we're not open to the public like
yeah,
that.
they had told it.
Oh,
It was-
you could also, you could
Real
use the
Pickles
charge.
is
Okay.
open to
Yeah,
the public.
and
You
right.
could use the charge tab
I buy
to
it from
invoice
them.
them too, if you wanted to.
Okay.
That's all you can do with the charge tab. It was always an invoice. It's never actually taking money from
Right,
someone.
okay.
Gary, Real Pickles is open to, they do a
That-
modest amount of
alright.
retail, just
Sarah?
What's to prevent, what will be the downside of just creating a lot more money? You're deciding how much extra money you're, I mean, we have the $200, but then you have other amounts you're sort of basing off the $200 that are
Yes.
agreement money. What would happen if you created tons more agreement money?
We're gonna love to find out.
May I should take an answer?
Sure.
Try. Typically, printing money is considered inflationary. The Confederacy got in trouble for that, and so did the Continental Congress. So the way this is set up is money or your exchange medium continues to have its value so long as people have faith in it. Every time there's a transaction, there's somebody that's accepting them, which implies there's a proof that there's faith in them.
Oh, okay.
So we can print bonuses,
But
because
always for
there's
the faith
just-
connection. Yeah,
right,
that's cool.
because there's always, at a transaction, there's always proof that they have this agreed upon value. If we just started printing them,
Right,
that would probably fail. People would say, no, there's,
they wouldn't have faith.
yeah, the faith would be eroded. So they're not gonna do that. Not wholesale the way we're asking them to.
See, my question is always this. If the United States government had bailed out the people instead of the banks and added $9 trillion to the economy, what would have happened? We have a booming economy and there'd be inflation. So let's not do $9 trillion, but let's do something to just put more money into the system so that everybody can be better off. We don't know how much that is, but what's the
By
reasonable
changing
amount? But the
transactions.
system will tell us. And I had the page up so that you can take a look. Everything that we need to know is, can you work the,
Yeah.
everything that we need to know, the system is going to tell
Wait a
us
minute,
ongoing.
this is not supposed to be, this is supposed to be next week, right?
Yeah, okay, never
Or the
mind.
week after that.
I just answered the question, that's all, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we want to go through the agreement
Yes.
tonight, at least
That's-
before we do this. But we do have a page, you should know, a page that has a lot of data about how things are going in the system. And the point is, when we get to the democratic part of our development, if we can use that information to make sound decisions about the economy. I want to add to Peter's answer also. We believe that what it comes down to is that we can issue as much R credits or other medium of exchange as we want to, up to the point where it's all well represented by what the community has, the participants have the ability to produce in the fairly short term. We can't safely issue more currency than we have goods and services to back it with.
For it to
Because it's representing, for it to represent. What we're doing is agreeing to accept it for our goods and services. That's its value ultimately. It's our goods and services that we are agreeing to give in exchange for the R credits. Fairly soon, not 100 years from now. Okay, the agreement. We're ready to go on to the agreement? Any lingering questions before we go on to the agreement itself? Okay. So the agreement has three sections really, even though they're just A and B. The first one is sort of the whereas. It's the background for the agreement. And we ask people to understand this piece as part of what you're agreeing to. I agree that I recognize this. The second part is some of the specifics of the function, what makes the money work, what makes the R credits work the way they're supposed to. And the last one, which is just out of sight here, is about the democracies. And it's omitted from the business agreement. Everything else is on the business agreement, except for that last point, which you can't see here. Okay, so should we walk through this one at a time? Is that what we're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where we're headed is a common good economy, which, by that we mean a community-centered democratic system that's for the common good, puts people and planet first. So the next point is that we have the power to issue credit. And we could go to that screen that shows something about issuing credit. All of these blue things, if you go onto the website, the members' website, if you go onto the members' website, I think we shouldn't follow any of the links because of that.
They do.
You can see that there's a link to the agreement at the bottom of any page, even if you don't sign in. Member site. And all these blue things go to more information about each point. So if you want more information than we're actually going to cover tonight, you can go there and click on these links. If you're not a member yet, or even haven't even started opening an account, send me an email and I'll send you the link to this site in case you forget that it's new.artcredits.org.
New England West,
Yeah.
not new.
Okay, so that covers what I was just describing, that it's our agreement to accept the art credits that gives them value. And governance by the people is essential for a just society. That's the purpose of our credits, is we're trying to get to that situation where we can govern by the people at the community level. B, okay. This is the core of the agreement, is number one here. As long as I can spend our credits easily or exchange them easily for US dollars, I will accept them without limit as payment for my goods and services. I will exchange our credits for US dollars only if I cannot spend them easily. If we all make that agreement together, it is what makes it work. It's what gives you places to spend them. It gives you confidence that you will have places to spend them because you know that everybody else is accepting them. And it's also indirectly what lets you be able to exchange them easily for US dollars. Okay, number two, I will accept our credits from members of any common good community in good standing. We don't have any common good communities yet, except for this nascent one, this being born still one in Greenfield.
Through these seminars.
What's that?
We're trying to
Birth it. This is part of the process of making a common good communities. We need enough people who understand what's going on so that we can be responsible for our own economic future as a community. Nancy's doing a lot towards that too, as are Carol and Peter, anybody else who is involved in Greening Greenfield and the other Greenfield organizations that are working for what?
Better world.
A better world, yes.
Potentially sustainable.
Sustainability, yes. Okay, what's that say there? Once my geographic... Okay, the reason for this, I'll accept our credits from members of any common good community in good standing. What?
Just imagining someone not in good standing.
Well, if the main way that a community could be not in good standing is if it issues more R credits than it can back with its goods and services. Right? You don't want anybody to misbehave in that way and then pay you with the R credits that pay people in your community with R credits that they've issued. That would be misbehaving and they would not be in good standing anymore. So you don't have to accept them from a community that is in that position.
And we'll know that, you're gonna.
Yes.
Yeah.
The organization
Part of the
will
design,
immediately say,
part
no,
of
stop.
the reason for the transparency is that
Yeah.
we can all monitor
Each
each other. Communities can monitor each other, make sure that
Oh,
they're
I
all
see,
good
that's,
standing.
oh,
Okay, once my geographic
We are
area-
Big Brother. All of
Yeah.
us collectively.
We are our own big brother. one geographic area becomes a common good community, in the event of a cash crunch, I will back our credits up to my average balance over the past 6 months.
Please explain.
Yes.
Okay, cash crunch means that, man, there's such a good explanation of it if I click on that link.
It won't go anywhere.
I'll do.
You gonna try it?
No,
Oh, you've explained, yeah, that's
But
good.
you can
You're
do
the
it.
theorist.
see, the first, number one is that if I can't spend them easily, right, I can cash them out. I can trade my art credits back for any art credits that I received in payment for my goods and services, right? I can cash those out. And they come out of the escrow account. So what happens if something happens in our community and everybody goes to cash out and the escrow account is empty? We don't want anybody to be in a position that they're going to lose money. So we agree collectively that we're going to back the system to the extent that we use it, which we're saying is your average balance over the past 6 months.
Okay, let me
So-
add to this. The most likely way that the escrow account could not have enough money in it is if we've gotten so many people, we've gotten to the point where we have so many people participating that we feel confident that those millions of dollars that are just sitting there for years in that account could be spent. They're not doing anything else, they're just sitting in a bank account. Right now we have something between $50,000 and $60,000 that's just sitting in a bank account.
Wow.
And has been.
Yeah.
It's
It's just
nothing
sitting there.
substantial is going out at all. Every month it's a little more. So we could probably spend some of that, but we're not ready, you know, socially as a common good community yet. But once we are, we might misjudge and spend too much of it. That would cause a cash crunch if somebody then tried to cash out. This is not a big deal. I mean, it might mean that the community just has to have a short-term, you know, a 1 month, 2 month loan, right, from somebody, bank or something, to cover the cash
Average
crunch.
balance of our credits in your account, so.
Right.
Your art credit
But
account.
we ask everybody to sign
So then you'd
this,
have
so
to,
that
like,
we
put
can
money
be
in.
sure it's
Put
not a
money.
problem,
Put
because then,
federal money in.
even though there's a cash crunch and people can't cash out, we're asking everybody to keep accepting our credits for a limited time, so we can get through that, right?
Right.
Nancy?
I know this is not what you want to talk about today, but I so struggle with the fact that you're creating art credits. So it's like, okay, what's in the escrow account is how much
Certain.
federal dollars I put into the system, and yet our credits are being
It'll be extra.
manufactured all the time, so there will never be enough in the escrow account to pay people, because
That's
Right.
by
right.
definition, there's more art credits than there are federal money.
Right.
And the global
But-
money supply, what's the, that much?
But notice that we don't need those US dollars at all. We've made them,
Unless people ask for them.
unless people ask for them. Yes, and even then, the only reason we would need all of them is if the vast majority of people asked for the vast majority of the money out, which is essentially saying,
We
if
have
the
money.
system fails,
Yeah.
then we need that money.
Run on the bank.
Which is why, I think this is the next point.
No.
No, not quite.
But
But
actually,
let's
I have
jump
another-
ahead to
can I
this
ask
one.
another question? I'm sorry, can I ask another question?
Why don't we finish answering that one first?
Oh, you're gonna finish answering that one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, thought you were moving.
Somebody else had a question over here too, is it Sarah? Peter. Okay. So this is very relevant, this, what if the system fails? I understand I will receive some R credits from the community as incentive rewards that I can spend but cannot cash out, right? So Joanna, you were able to cash out $100
Worth of art.
worth of R credits.
Thank you.
He still has
because
30 R credits.
because was
She can't cash those
you
out,
had
right?
put in 200
Yes.
and you're only trying to cash out,
100.
and you spent 100, so you were able to cash out 100. You wouldn't be able to cash out a penny more than that because everything else you got free.
Right.
So at all times, so 2 years from now, there would always be a $250 amount of art credits that could never be cashed out.
Right.
And then those other bonuses too, or like the bonuses for the
All the
transactions?
bonuses,
They
the
cannot
sign-up
ever be
bonus,
cashed out.
right, the sign-up bonus, the,
Oh, so
Inviting
we'd always
bonus.
have it covered.
what's that?
Well, if all the created money, it can never be cashed out,
Right.
then we always would be able to pay them back.
Right, until we become a comic book community, we decide to spend some of that.
Oh, okay, so that's a separate one.
Right, that's separate.
So the
Stage.
bonus ones
We're not there
are
yet.
like in the ether. Like
Yes.
the regular
They're in
ones.
They,
people's
they only,
accounts.
they only circulate, they don't
Right.
go in and out.
Okay,
Well, they
so,
go in, but they don't
and
go out.
somehow the system is gonna be able to keep track for you of,
Yes,
Well,
it just gives you a number.
It's just a
It
calculation.
says this is how many
Right.
rewards you've got never.
right,
This
and
is
it just
not-
stays there and you could never
Yeah.
cash that out. But
Right.
the ones that
You can
you,
spend it,
the money part, which is you did at the beginning, you can always get that back.
exactly.
So we would not have a problem with everybody cashing out at once unless we had spent
Unless we,
money as a
yeah, I didn't
community.
realize that, I didn't understand.
Exactly.
Not that I'm advocating that.
Right.
Because, let's say there's some, some moral problem or something, one of the administrators does something awful and we all get freaked out and we try to take our money out. We can do that.
In a way,
Yes.
but there's a bunch we won't.
I don't, you
Well,
just have to
everybody
think
can
about
come
worst
out even
We'll come,
Worse.
well,
You
they're,
just can't
they'll
count
be even
ahead.
in the sense that,
Right.
yeah,
from what we put in.
from what you put in and what you got paid. You can keep that.
in regular dollars.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that a community might decide to spend money on and then be kind of taking on, debt or whatever?
That is probably the main subject of our
Another
lunch on January 31st. Our celebration lunch is for members. By the way, if you'd like to come to the free lunch on
There is a free lunch.
31st, make sure you open your ArcCredits account before that and buy something. And then come. And to help us take that next step of deciding what we're going to do with this power. That'll also be part of the subject of 2 weeks from now. But think about it in the meantime. I want to know what you think about it. Did we finish this? I want to finish this whole thing before we, right, so, understand I receive some art credits as incentive rewards that I can spend but cannot cash out. If I stop participating or the system ends within 6 months of receiving my first art credits, or before the community has enough revenue to cover the incentive rewards, basically.
Wait, but I thought the incentive
Basically,
rewards
until we
were-
decide that it's safe to spend the
Yes.
escrow, and we decide that it's okay for people to cash out. When the community says go, you can now cash out, then we can cash out. That's what it comes down to.
Wait, but I thought the incentive rewards were created money and would never be able to be
Right.
cashed out.
Right.
The 250 incentive reward.
Yes, but since the whole point of this system is community level democracy,
Yeah.
the community can decide to change that or anything
Oh,
that doesn't affect other communities.
okay, so that's what that's.
Yeah.
I mean, those award amounts could become, could be requested to be cashed out, whereas if she came to me with her awards, she's already cashed out of her cash, she has $30 in awards, comes to me, buys my service for $30, then I say, oh, okay, I've got $30 worth of service, I want the money.
Yeah.
You can do that.
So now, the bank doesn't have that 30, because that was generated money from the beginning.
Right.
So we can become short in that manner.
We can have cash flow problems, but the total amount of, what?
Yeah.
Of catastrophic indebtedness of participants to the system is the amount that's in the escrow. So
Next,
Johanna would actually have to put money in if she
She's already
spent
got her
all of her
200
ARP
back.
grants. Right, but if she spent all the rest of them.
But she still
And
has
then the
30
system
left over
fails.
from the beginning that was given to her.
Right, that's what I mean. If she spent those, she spent right down to zero. And then the system failed, or she moved away.
She would have.
She'd have to put back in that much value,
Oh.
$30 worth of,
Oh.
Okay,
because she has spent some of the ones she got free. And she's not allowed to keep those if the system fails.